TechWeb has an extensive inventory management section. Not only can you view or insert items into your master inventory list, you can also view inventory by location. You can also create or view purchase orders. Let's go ahead and first take a look at the master inventory list. This list allows you to display your inventory by part number, description, category of part, subcategory, and manufacturer's ID. Simply click on the top of each column to resort the list based upon that column heading, and you can also now locate an item based upon that column. So in this case, I can go ahead and type in a description, click on search, and it will find that item in inventory. If I click on the part ID column, it resorts by part ID, and I can just type in a part number, click on search, and it will find that part in inventory. Let's go ahead now and take a look at this particular part. You can either change an item, insert a new item into inventory, or view an item. This is also based upon the security settings you have set up for this user, so that in TechWeb you may have a user that can view items only but cannot add or modify. You can also set up restrictions so that a user cannot view any pricing information in inventory. So again, let's go ahead and look at this item. And then you'll see there's various tabs which gives you access to all the information about this item in inventory. The part number description, your drop-down lists here for category and subcategory are based upon your validation lists in along. The manufacturer code, if you want to do a lookup by code that may be different than the distributor part number, and other information here as well. If you track stock in along, then TechWeb will also provide you access to what the current stock counts are, not only within the main inventory, but as you'll see shortly, the stock that is stored in other locations as well. In the pricing tab, if you have access to this section based upon your security settings, you will see a list of your costs for this part, as well as your selling price levels, just as you would in along. Under cost levels, you'll see in this case we have this item that we purchased from 2 different vendors and what our cost is from each vendor. I can go ahead and change any of these items, or I can go in and insert a new vendor. Let's choose a different vendor, what their code is. If you want to enter the UPC code, you may do so, and then also type in the cost. Now that gets added as an additional cost level in along. Under pricing levels, you'll see that we currently have 3 pricing levels: what the normal selling price is, what the price is if it's a serviced item, and then what the price would be if you choose it to be a discounted item. If we go in and click on a change, you can go and change the pricing and other information as well from here. Under the Locations tab, you can notice all the locations where this item is currently in stock. So here we have different locations set up in along, and they'll be displayed here in TechWeb. So in truck 1, which could be labeled as truck 1, it could be a license plate number, could be assigned to a technician. Whatever way you have locations assigned in along is how you would see it in TechWeb. So again, for truck 1, we have 3 of these items on hand, and once we get below stock levels of 1, then along can go ahead and reorder the item for you. And this is if you put stock in certain bins. This shows the location of that item in truck 1, and truck 2, truck 3, and so forth. If you want to insert this item into another location, you can click on Insert, select the locations that you have set up in along, put in what the current stock on hand is and what the reorder level will be, and bin number if you wish, and that now adds that to the locations as well. If you use purchase orders in along or in TechWeb to order items from your vendors, you can click on the History tab and you will see a list of every time that item has been purchased from your vendors. Not only can you see what your costs were, but the last row will show you what your average cost is to purchase this item. Under kits, you'll see in a few minutes what a kit looks like. This part does not have a kit, but you can set up an item in inventory that when sold on an invoice, it includes a number of other items from inventory as well. Documents is very powerful because within the document list, just like within the customer area, you can assign various documents, PDFs basically, but it could be an audio file, it could be a video file, it could be an Excel spreadsheet, any kind of a file that your mobile device will be able to view. And most mobile devices, such as an iPad or other tablets, can view PDFs, for example, and you can store them on your server in your office and then associate the various documents with an item. So here we have 3 different documents that are belong to this particular item. One is an ad for the item, the other one is a data sheet, and the third one is the actual user's manual. So let's go ahead and click on the user manual, and that will go ahead and it will launch and load that PDF document from the server into your mobile device to be viewed as a PDF document. So we go ahead and we now bring that document up, and here you'll see the actual document on your mobile device. So you can take all of your user manuals, tech sheets, installation manuals for the various items that you install, and any technician can have access to them out in the field by simply clicking on that item here. You can also insert additional documents if you know where they're stored on your server. You can click on Insert within TechWeb, type in the description and the path of where that item is stored, and then that gets added as well to this item's document list. To show you a kit, let's go back into inventory, and let's go into a kit that we have set up. So we have a kit called the Gold Kit. Do a search on that. There's the Gold Security Kit. Click on Change. And now we'll go under the Kit section. And here you see a list of all the items that are automatically sold when we sell a Gold Kit. And if we go ahead into any one of these items and click on Change, you'll see the basic information, just as you would in Alarm, regarding this item as a component. If we want to add an additional item to this kit, click on Insert, choose what part we want to include, the quantity, and then whether we want the pricing to be used as a calculation for the overall kit on an invoice in Alarm, and whether or not when this item is sold as part of a kit, do we deduct from the stock. And click on Save, and then it's added to the list. Now, if you want to take a look at inventory at a specific location, or if you want to perform physical inventory where you're doing a physical count of items at a location, and then within Alarm you'll use that information to do a physical release and update your inventory counts based upon your physical counts, you can go to Inventory, and then you have both main locations and by location. So if we go down to the inventory, go to Stock Main Location, you will now see a list of inventory only stored at your main location, and what the current stock counts are, where they're located, and then this is where you can enter your physical count. So again, assuming you have authority to do this, you can go in and now once a month or once a quarter, you can go in and do a physical stock count by typing in what you actually have in stock of this item. Let's say we have 122 of this item, and then we have one of this, and so forth. Once you're finished with this, Alarm has been updated with this physical stock count, and then you can go into Alarm's inventory, and there's a section to release the physical stock, so it'll now adjust the on-hands with what you actually have. It'll keep a log of what you used to have and what you now have, and it will send you a report on the changes as well. So you can also now go, like I said, and go into your stock by location. And now, whether you perform physical stock or not, this is a great way to find out what you actually have at each location. So by sorting by location, for example, you'll now see that in truck one, this is all the inventory that you have stored there, and then truck 2 and so forth. Typically this would be a very long list, and you can be able to locate just truck 1, and then you would see a list of all the items that are stored in truck 1 and what the current stock counts are for truck 1. If you need to order parts while out in the field, you can use TechWeb to generate new purchase orders and then email the purchase order directly to the vendor so you can go and pick up the items. You can also go ahead and view all existing purchase orders that were created in Alarm. So for example, let's go into this purchase order and we'll take a look at that one. And here we have a PO number and date, the vendor that the items are being purchased from, the vendor's address, as well as where for them to be shipped to, or if it's going to be picked up, you can type in pick up, who ordered this PO, and any reference number necessary. If you want to email the purchase order to the vendor, you simply click on the checkbox and you would type in the email address for it to go to. If there's an email address on file for this vendor, that email address will be filled in automatically. Otherwise, you can override or enter any email address that you wish. The actual details for this purchase order is under the Detail Item tab. And here you see a list of all the various items that were ordered for this purchase order. If you want to view details on any one of these line items, click on Change. And now you'll see part number, manufacturer number, description, and so forth. Let's go ahead and create a new purchase order. So click on Insert. It'll number the PO automatically for us. Choose a date, say today's date, and then which vendor we're ordering from. So let's go ahead and choose a vendor. It'll fill in the information for us. Let's say we're going to pick this up, so we can type in pick up. And ordered by, whatever your initials happen to be. If you want to assign a reference number, do so. And then we'll go to Detail Items. And now we're going to add items to this PO. So let's go ahead and click on the Lookup button. Here we have a list of inventory. We can choose what items we want to include by part number, by manufacturer ID, or by description. So let's go ahead and order one of these. Actually, we'll order two of these. As you see, it automatically adds the cost based upon the quantity and unit cost. Save this. Insert another item. Let's see. And so forth. And just keep on adding to this until you have the items that you want to order, and then click on Save. And now that has been added to your PO list. If you want to email the PO, just click on, again, the Email PO button, type in the email address, click on Save, and it will create a PO and email it out. So here's an example of a PO that was created by TechWeb. As you'll see, it looks just like the same kind of a PO created by Alarm. Uses your logo graphic header if you have one. And this is what will get attached as a PDF to an email that was sent out to the vendor. For additional information on TechWeb, please visit our website at www.z-microtech.com.